Dr. Ben Carson tries to kill a man with a knife, but then God speaks to him in a bathroom and says this.
I had a horrendous temper. I would just fly off the handle. I would try to hurt people.
You nearly killed your friend.
Yes, I almost stabbed a friend with a knife. The only thing that saved him is that he had on a very large metal belt buckle underneath his clothing, and a knife blade struck it with such force that it broke. And I was horrified, and I ran into the bathroom, I locked myself in, and I just started contemplating, because by that time, I had turned things around academically. I was an A student, but I still had this temper, and I realized I was never going anywhere with a temper like that except jail, reform school, or the grave. And I just fell on my knees and I said, Lord, you gotta help me. I cannot control my temper. And I said, if you don't fix this, it's all over for me. And I stayed in that bathroom for 3 hours praying and contemplating. There was a Bible in there, and I picked it up and I turned it to the book of Proverbs, and there were all these verses about anger and how much trouble it gets you into. You know, Proverbs 19:19 says there's no point in getting an angry man out of trouble because he's just going to get right back into it. But there are verses like Proverbs 16:32 that says, mightier is the man who can control his temper than the man who can conquer a city. And it seemed like they were all written for me. And I realized while I was in there that, lashing out, kicking down the door, what have you, that's not a sign of strength, it's a sign of weakness. It means that environment and other people can control you. And I decided to step out of the center of the equation and move myself to the periphery and to begin to look in and be able to see the big picture. And it completely changed my life. When I walked out of that bathroom, the temper was gone. I've never had another problem with it since that day.